Good morning, Ocean Road School. I am so excited that I have the opportunity to bring Mindful Monday to you from my basement. This is my home, and Mrs. Buck asked that I would put something together for you guys. So I thought that the first 10 minutes we could go over some things for your parents so they know what we've been doing at school. So parents, my name is Sarah Stevenson. I represent Mindful Educational Services. I began this business about 2.5 years ago, and what I do is I go into schools, elementary through high school. I train teachers and staff in mindfulness strategies as well as bring assemblies to the kids. I thoroughly love what I do. Kids are amazing, especially when it comes to mindfulness. So I'll share a little bit with you as well about some of the things you can do at home. I'll share with you what I've been teaching your child, and then we will work through a couple songs, a mindful activity, and we should have some fun. So the first thing I want to share is that every time I start an assembly, a brand new assembly with the kids in the beginning of the year, I do this by demonstrating to them how mindfulness works through something called a mindfulness jar. So a completed mindfulness jar looks like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the story and the lesson about how I present this to your child. You can make this mindfulness jar with hot water, so boil the water first, and then put in about 1/2 of a Elmer's glue, clear glue, into the boiling water. Whisk it, let it cool, and then all you need is some glitter. So I explain to kids that this is what their brain looks like on a Saturday morning in the summer. They wake up, it's going to be a wonderful day, they're going to go to the beach with their best friend, get ice cream, boardwalk fries, maybe do some of the rides. Later on that night, they have a birthday party at Sky Zone. So they wake up and there is no worry in their brain. However, they look outside, and what they see outside is a dark, stormy day. It's cloudy, it's raining. So automatically they know that they're not going to go to the beach. And what happens in the brain is that my glitter is giving me trouble. We'll try another one. What happens in the brain is that an upsetting thought comes in, and it kind of changes the outlook of the day so far. And we have this thought in there that wasn't originally in there when we woke up. So your mom says, don't worry, we'll call your best friend and we can go to the movies. So your mom calls the best friend's mom, and the mom says, I'm really sorry, but she's not feeling well. So that's another disappointment. So far it looks like this day that was supposed to be really great is suddenly and quickly kind of getting turned upside down. From there, your mom says, we missed our dentist appointment a few weeks ago. There's nothing to do today. It's a rainy day. Why don't we just go and, have our teeth clean? And so, of course, you go to the dentist, and the dentist, unfortunately, finds a cavity. And because the dentist appointment took a little bit too long, and you were in the waiting room for a very long time, you show up to the Sky Zone birthday party 15 minutes late, which means you miss half the bounce time and really are only there for the cake. So this Saturday morning that you thought was going to be an amazing day, your brain was clear, there was nothing to worry about, all of a sudden turned into a day where your brain looked like this. And what I say to the children when they see this is that our thoughts are going to collide. We're going to feel overwhelmed as though we can't get control of them. But through breath and self-awareness and regulation, these thoughts, through the breathing, begin to settle down. And these thoughts don't go away, but they begin to settle in a part of the brain that is quieter. I explain to children about the hand model of the brain, and you can, if you look up Dr. Dan Siegel on YouTube, there's a 2-minute video on the hand model of the brain that he uses to teach children about how to self-regulate. So if, and kids, you can try this too, just as a refresher. I know we've done it a few times, but if you hold up your hand, parents and kids, take your thumb and put it in the middle of your palm. Take your fingers and put them over your thumb. Now this, if you kind of hold it as a side view, is kind of a smaller version of your brain. I tell the kids that on average we have 70,000 thoughts a day, which is astounding. So the front of the brain right here is the thinking part of the brain, the part of the brain that is taking in learning and understanding. It's the part of the brain that you're using now. That's the prefrontal cortex. Underneath, where the thumb is something called the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible for the fight and the flight and the freeze response. So getting upset, getting anxious, getting sad, that's basically where all the feelings go. The back of the brain is called the hippocampus, which is the memory storage of the brain. So a place where you can remember your 5th birthday party, when you fell off your bike when you were learning how to ride it. So that's all stored memory back there. So if you think of your arm as the spinal cord and down at your elbow is your belly, what happens is when you take deep belly breath, it sends a signal up something called the vagus nerve. It sends a signal up to calm the brain. So say that, let's use an example for school. So say that your 4th grader is feeling overwhelmed with work, is just having a really hard time with stuff, and is just kind of feeling stressed out. What happens is the amygdala starts to kind of go off a little bit. And Dr. Dan Siegel describes this as someone flipping their lid. When someone is stressed or worried or scared or anxious, the brain cannot learn because it's not on track. However, when we learn to breathe properly, it takes 3 balloon breaths. I tell the kids about our balloon breaths. So this is a balloon breath because we imagine that we're breathing into our bellies and we're breathing out. When we breathe in, the air should go in the belly and push the belly out. A lot of times, and what most of us have been doing our whole lives, is we've been breathing in so the belly goes in. That will not ignite that nervous system response to get the brain back on track. So it's very simple. And I always say to the kids, if you forget everything I talked to you about all year, I just want you to remember the 3 balloon breaths. Parents of younger children, you can help them by practicing this by having them lie on their back with the feet on the floor. Place a stuffy or a pillow or something light on their belly. And as they breathe in, they should be able to see that one thing on their belly rise and then fall. It's a very unusual way to breathe because we're not used to that. But after you practice it, you get used to it. And I think Ocean Road students are, A+ at this exercise. They know the drill. They know what it means to breathe with their belly out, and they know how to still their bodies. And I'll just say as well that Ocean Road School has done an amazing job in supporting mindfulness, and it has really changed the culture of the school, the dynamics of how the kids interact with one another. The teachers are implementing a lot of my strategies. They're asking me for, different ideas. So they are invested in the social, emotional well-being of your children. And to me, as a parent of 5 children and as a parent of someone in the district, I think we can all agree that social emotional learning is the foundation for all other academic learning. And that's why I do what I do. So that's kind of an intro into how I explain mindfulness to children. And a lot of kids ask me, how do you make a mindfulness jar? So hot water, boil it, whisk in some clear glue. If you can find plastic mason jars, that's probably a good idea. Kids like to even just shake, watch, that's teaching mindfulness, and breathe. Those 3 deep breaths take the thoughts down to the bottom of their brain. All right, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to go over some of the breaths that we've done together in our assemblies. The kids know all these breaths, and hopefully you can reference this video if you want to practice some of them with your child. So before I show you the breaths, I am an author of something called the Affirmative Classroom. It's currently being used in about 5 school districts. It's for the K-8 student. I've written 40 mini lessons of meditations. 1 lesson a week. It takes about 8 minutes. And throughout every lesson, there's a pose and then a lesson associated with that. So all the images you'll see related to the breath are from the Affirmative Classroom. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can go on my website, mindfuleducationalservices.com, and check it out. Or shoot me an email if you have questions. I love to help with it any way I can. All right, so we talked about the balloon breath. So imagining that when you breathe in, your belly is expanding, right? And when you breathe out, your belly is moving in. The next one is always a favorite. It's a little bit tricky to get, but this is our Darth Vader breath. We can also call it our ocean breath. So I'm going to teach you guys 2 ways to do that, or I'm going to teach you guys how to do this with 1 step and then the second step to complete it. So if you hold your hand in front of your mouth, imagine that you're fogging up a mirror. So take a deep breath in and say, so try that one more time. Deep breath in. Now that's not the breath. We're going to do that same motion with our throat, with our mouth closed. I'm not sure if you can hear me on the video, so I'll try to do it kind of loud. It's a deep breath in. This breath is, for the fancy name for this breath, is Nadi Shodhana. And what that breath does is it helps to balance both sides of the brain, because there's 2 nadis here in your nose. And when you constrict the breath out by closing the lips, it sends signals up to your brain to help kind of balance the right and left side of the brain. It's a very meditative breath. Okay, the next one, the kids really like this one. It's called taco tongue, but it's also referred to as the cooling breath. If you cannot curl your tongue, I just tell the kids to make their mouths like the letter O. It's very simple. You curl your tongue and breathe in and out. So if you try that a few times, what you'll notice is that the air coming in begins to feel cooler. And when a child is feeling anxious or upset or worried, that temperature cooling aspect of the breath will help calm the body. The ocean breath, what you'll do is you'll place 1 hand on your heart and 1 hand on your belly. And we are so blessed to live near the ocean, so kids have a beautiful vision of what waves look like. So we'll try this one together. You're going to place your right hand on your heart, left on your belly. Envision a nice, big, beautiful wave rolling into the shore. And as you breathe in, feel that wave rise the top hand all the way down to the bottom hand. As you breathe out, feel the bottom hand move in and the top hand relax. The next one is kind of funny. This is lion breath, but it is probably the most favorite breath for all the students, including kindergarten to 5th grade. The lion breath is a way for us to exercise our throat and our tongue. Our tongue is the 2nd hardest working muscle in our body next to the heart. So what this does is it stretches out the throat and the tongue. We take our hands up like this, take a deep breath in, and say, I ask the kids to kind of increase in how loud they become as lions and then decrease to teach self-regulation. The next one is called the bunny breath, probably a little bit more popular with the younger children, but I ask them to get on their hands and knees. And if they want, they can put up their little bunny ears. This is the same idea as the other Darth Vader breath. It helps to balance the right and left side of the brain. It's also a breath that kind of wakes you up, and you use it from your belly. So if you place your hands on your belly, you only breathe out through the nose. So it looks like this. And then we finish with a nice big reach up and an exhale down. The next one is similar to the wave breath. This is called the sky breath. So what you do is you just place your hand on your heart, the left hand down, you're closing your eyes, and what you're thinking about is breathing in the light of the sky, breathing it all throughout your body, and then exhaling, maybe a color that you don't like. This one is the sigh breath. We do this lots in assemblies just to kind of get everyone back on track. So we breathe in, we reach up high, sitting or standing, and then we say, so just a nice release. And with all of these breaths, you do them at least 3 times. Last breath is called the counting breath. This one is one of my favorites because it really informs a child how to control the exhale on the way out. Okay, so the way it works is we inhale for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We hold for 4, and then we exhale for a count of 6. Now what happens in our bodies, human nature, is that we just want to exhale the breath. What this breath does is it informs our bodies to slow down and exhale slowly. So let's try this together, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now exhale slow. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so parents, that was kind of the parent portion of the introduction of mindfulness to the kids. Every assembly I do, there is 10 minutes of breath work. There is 10 minutes of movement, and we're going to do a couple songs in a moment. You can stick around for that if you want. And then there are 10 minutes of a mindfulness activity at the end. We use rocks, we use feathers, we use things from outside. Last week we used a raisin. Asked the children to tell you what happens when they hold a raisin near their ear. That was kind of a fun discovery. But every lesson as well is based on a theme. And the kids just seem to soak it up and apply it. And they always thank me when they leave for the assembly. So I'm grateful to be in the school. So guys, we're going to actually do a lesson today. Now that I've talked to your parents a little bit about what I do. And we're going to start with an activity that we've done often. Now, I haven't brought this into school yet. I've only brought my little one and my other bells that I ring together. But this is called a Tibetan bell. And there's different ways you can use it. You can kind of move it, this little kind of stick around and make it sing real loud, but I'm not really good at that. Or you can tap it and you'll hear a really big sound. I'll show you first and then we'll do an exercise with it. So what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to do something called grounding. Grounding is the way we begin every assembly, where we cross our legs and sit up tall. We roll our shoulders back. And in this moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. We'll do 3 balloon breaths. And then I'm going to ring my bell. And when you can no longer hear the sound, you're going to open your eyes. Sitting up tall, eyes are closed. Relax the muscles in your face and your forehead. And let's take 3 breaths in, big belly breaths in through the nose and out. Take 2 more, in through the nose and out. Last one, in through the nose and out. Now, keeping your eyes closed, I'll ring my bell, and when you can no longer hear it, just open your eyes. Awesome job. So we'll do another exercise later on that involves listening. So guys, what I want to talk to you about today is the idea of change. So there's a lot of different things going on right now. You know, we're not going to school, we're not having play dates, we're not going to the park, and it's so different. But something we talk about in our assemblies is how to change the language in your brain, right? So we can look outside on a rainy day and say, oh, it's raining. I can't go out. I was going to ride my bike after school. I had these plans and now I have to stay inside. Or we can change the framework of our thoughts and look outside and say, it's raining. That's all. It's raining. And what does that mean for this time of year? It means that we're moving into spring. It means that we'll begin to see those little pink buds on our trees, and we'll begin to see green grass, and pretty soon it will be summer and we won't be in school. There's 2 ways that you can speak in your brain. So as we move through these next, few weeks of change, we need to start thinking about the positives in all of this. We need to start thinking about the blessings and, the amazing time that we have with our families now. Even at my home, we're kicking the soccer ball around more. We're playing games more. And it's not easy. None of this is easy. But if we begin to change our perspective, we begin to feel better. So today's lesson is mainly about changing perspective. It's beginning to see the silver lining in all of this and really beginning to value your family and the people that you love, and maybe even changing something in your life that you'd like to learn. Maybe you want to learn how to cook. Maybe you want to learn how to code, and you can go on to Khan Academy, but you have extra time now. So that's good change. All right, so we're going to do some movement next. All right, we'll do maybe a couple songs, and then we'll finish with a short meditation. So one of the songs that we'll do is called the Mixing Bowl, and the kids love this song. If you are interested in any of these songs, please go on my website, and you will find a list of songs. You can get them free on Spotify. So the first one's called the Mixing Bowl. Like I said, it's always a hit. So you're going to sit with your legs out. And here we go. It's not working. Oh, there it is.
Go and wash your hands first. Find your little
stool.
Get out all the things. Get out the things we'll need.
So we're getting ready to make something in the kitchen.
Mash up the
bananas
with your wooden spoon. Pour the sugar, crack an egg.
Check for shells.
And check for shells.
Now we're going to take our hands together, do big circles.
Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. We put some extra love into our baking. It's so much more than bread we're making.
Cross your legs.
Open up the flour.
Open up the flour.
It might go everywhere.
Clean it up.
Pour it in. A little mess is alright.
Roll your shoulders. Now we're going to mix it.
Fold it all together.
Other way.
Our sweet creation ready for the oven.
We have to mix it a little bit more. So take your legs
more.
out. This time make really big circles for me, guys. Arms out straight. Here we go.
Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. Stir around and around.
Go the other way.
Mixing bowl. Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. We put some extra love into our baking. So much more than bread we're making.
Roll your shoulders and forward. Take your hands like this. Remember ostrich stretch. We push our head through and back. Do one more. And then we're just going to do some gentle stretches, guys. Reach side to side. Look up. Big stretch.
Stir around and around in the mixing
Now let's twist.
bowl. Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. Stir around and around in the mixing bowl. Stir around
Big circles.
and around in the mixing bowl. Stir around
Again.
and around
And back.
in the mixing
Take your hands here.
bowl. Round and round in the mixing bowl.
Great job, guys. So that was the Mixing Bowl song. You guys can find it on my website. So a few other things before I move on to the next song. I wanted to have time to read this book, The Magic Breath. I don't think I'll have time because the video length is shortened. But The Magic Breath is a great book that talks about breathing and how important it is. For the older children, a great book is I Am, Charlotte and the Quiet Place. And this one I really like for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, Malala's Magic Pencil and her story. You can find a big list of books on my site as well. So we'll do one more song. This is Kings and Queens of the Forest. The kids love this song. They probably will have the words memorized as we do this one. So for this one, you guys will have to stand up for it. Let me just find it here. Now, the premise of this song is about the forest, and the kings and queens of the forest are the trees, right? And the beauty of nature and the fact that a lot of these movements came from nature thousands and thousands of years ago. So you can stand up for me up.
Buildings were here.
Side to side.
Woods were still young.
Give yourself a hug.
Our rings were few back.
Sit down in a chair.
We were here.
Smile.
We were here.
Place your hands on your hips. Do little hip circles.
Sun looked down
And other way.
on us, and the rain came.
Let's do our side breath. So reach up.
Our trunks
One
grew
more.
wide, our bark grew thick. We were here.
One more. This is our favorite part.
We are the kings and queens of the forest. We are strong, we belong to the earth. We are the kings and queens of the forest. We are strong and the earth belongs to us.
Okay, so guys, let's reach one hand down, other arm up. And switch. And take your feet together and come down. And lift up. Try one more. Reach up. Look up high. Come down like a waterfall. Reach up. Come to chair. Take your arms out. This is star pose. Wiggle your fingers. And swing. Swing side to side. Okay, roll your shoulders. We're going to do it one more time.
We are the kings and queens of the forest. We are strong, we belong to the earth. We are the kings and queens of the forest. We are strong and the earth belongs to us.
Reach out and come all the way down. Cross your legs. Great job, guys. It's one of our favorite songs. So we're going to get ready for a quick meditation. I will talk you guys through something very simple, and then we'll rest to another favorite song, which is called Just Be. It's also on my website. Parents, if you're interested in other tools, there's something called Yoga Pretzels that is also a great resource. Ask your child about how we work with feathers. This is another meditation that we do. And if you want something for your kitchen or a fun activity to do while everyone's home from school, this is called an affirmation jar. You can find a list of affirmations by just Googling it. So you keep this jar in your kitchen. Your child comes up when he or she feels they need an affirmation. This one says, "You make the world better because you are in it." Okay, so what I'm going to ask you guys to do is just lie flat on your back. And I'm going to talk you through a meditation. So just give yourself a moment to get in that position. Okay, so as you rest into the ground or on your couch or on your bed, I want you to notice how your body feels against that surface. Notice what parts of your body you can relax. Can you relax your feet, your hands, your face? Do you have to move your hair so that you feel a little bit more comfortable? And then I want you to just listen for 3 sounds in the room. And now feel how the air feels on your skin. Does it feel warm? Does it feel cool? Are you comfortable? Notice if you have any thoughts in your mind, and if you do, notice them, acknowledge them, but then let them just kind of float away, just kind of disappear. And lastly, I want you to place your hands on your belly and begin to take some deep balloon breaths as we get ready to listen to our relaxation song.
Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Let it go. Let it all go. Let your eyes close. Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Let it go. Let it all go. Let your eyes close. Let your body feel heavy. Oh, let it go. Let it all go. Just breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. Just be. Just be. Just be.
Okay guys, so I brought my dog Ginger to say hello to you. You can slowly begin to sit up. Ginger likes to rest too to that song. So that's a really beautiful song. It does last about 4.5 minutes. Normally we listen to it for about 2 to 3. You can find it on my website at mindfuleducationalservices.com. And please email me if you have questions about how to better implement mindfulness in your home, and understand that behind the word mindfulness is social emotional regulation. And we are teaching the student how to study the self through self-awareness, understanding, recognizing emotion, and certainly how to respond appropriately. So I just want to thank all of you who took the time to take part in this video. Hopefully there will be a few more. Your children are all such gifts to the school, to myself, and certainly to you. Okay, stay safe, be well, and thank you.